much for visiting us at Wisconsinite Television. Let's just begin by having you tell us who you are, where you're from, and why you're here today.
Well, my name's Dave Blume, and I'm here today because we're teaching a workshop in energy independence. We're teaching people how to make their own auto fuel to run their vehicles instead of gasoline. And of course what we're talking about is moonshine or alcohol. And so any modern car on the road can run on some alcohol, but vehicles that are designed for it at the factory can actually run on anything from pure gasoline to 100% alcohol.
Now tell us the way you got to be connected with MATC in Madison, Wisconsin.
Well, we've had a lot of people buy my book, Alcohol Can Be a Gas, from this region. They've been asking for us to come out and do a workshop. And MATC came to us through a local supervisor of Jefferson County who thought the people in this area should have access to the information they need to start businesses around renewable fuels. So we were very thrilled to work with the college to come here and offer this course.
Now, we're standing in front of a F-150. Kind of give us an idea of why we're here in front of this vehicle. What's unique about this particular vehicle?
Well, we've been working on alcohol fuel for over 25 years, and the Ford Motor Company and I over the years have done different things together, and they've decided to throw their weight behind what we're doing. So we're now being sponsored by the Ford Motor Company, and this vehicle was donated by them for us to use in education about alcohol fuel.
And we're going to be setting off on a little journey here across town. Give us an idea of what the purpose is there.
Well, you know, a lot of folks don't even know that alcohol is available at the pump, and we're going to show you that it is. Oh, that's funny. It's a funny cat. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. We'll be right in.
So what we're putting into the tank here is fuel that was made in America by Americans, and especially rural Americans, you know, and benefiting farmers who are the folks who get the least amount of money out of any part of the current agricultural system. So by making farmers part of the energy supply, we're making farming a sustainable job. And so there's a lot of reasons why I'd rather give my money to farmers than to sheiks or transnational oil companies. Not the least of which is the farmers are going to re-spend the money they make in my community where I live, and that makes everybody where I live more prosperous.
If you're talking in the car about why something like this hasn't caught on to the extent that one might expect, I mean, you're teaching that this is very simple to do. Tell me a little bit about why you think, why aren't we seeing more of this? Or maybe we are.
Well, we're seeing more all the time because it's becoming inescapable that we're running out of oil. But, and that's the problem. The people who have the oil are making more and more money as we run out. So there's no desire at all to lose any of that market share. And oil companies are professionals at hardball capitalism. So they will do everything they can to discourage the public from going ahead and using this fuel. And because there's so little wrong with it, they have to really stretch to create issues in which alcohol comes out the loser. I mean, fantastical, twisted reasoning is needed to be able to, convince people that alcohol is not in their best interest.
Now, do vehicles like this, do they actually perform better with alcohol, or do they get better gas mileage? Are there any statistics like that?
Well, it's very interesting. Alcohol in a normal vehicle or a flex fuel vehicle like this typically experiences at least a 10% increase in horsepower. So that's a little better performance. You also typically will experience about a 10% drop in mileage. But for the most of the time that we've had E85 pumps, alcohol has been considerably cheaper than gasoline. So the 10% drop in mileage doesn't hurt your pocketbook. That's kind of countered by the fact that alcohol, cleans your engine as it runs, takes all the carbon out of it, triples your engine life. And so when you start to factor that in, the not having to spend $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 2 or 3 times, the fuel starts to look pretty cheap. Because vehicles in Brazil that have been running on alcohol routinely run 3 times as long without a rebuild as gasoline vehicles. We've got 20 years of data now to prove that in the modern era. So I want to point out this label that the Petroleum Marketing Association demanded be put on pumps. This label here says that you can't use this ethanol in a normal car. You can only use it in a flexible fuel vehicle. These labels came out after I did a national talk show in July of last year, in which I told millions of people that you could use this fuel up to 50% in your normal car without any changes whatsoever. And overnight, hundreds of thousands of people started putting alcohol in their car, and the oil companies had a complete hissy fit. And so they sent out these labels telling every gas station that you can't let people put this stuff in their car, and tell your clerks to stop people from putting it in their non-flex fuel vehicles. And this is absurd, because there's nothing illegal at all about your being able to put alcohol in your own car. So the oil companies were panicking that the word would spread like wildfire, that you could start using this cheaper fuel in your car, and it was actually good for your car. So these labels started showing up all over the country, and they're absolutely inappropriate.